Hello and welcome once again. I had a talk I kind of wanted to get out there for people because I feel like there isn't a lot of support for people who are givers, who are in the position of giving and do a good job. I have a lot of people that I talk to. Obviously, I'm very busy, but I have a lot of people that I talk to who are givers, who take care of people who don't take care of them back. I was on the phone last night for an hour and a half with a woman who I have become friends with through the reading process, and I would have stayed on with her for much longer if I could have. And, you know, this is a woman who takes care of her mother, who works a hell of a lot, and spent a lot of her time taking care of a guy who really knew how to excuse himself. And she's just one of the many people that I feel are kind of like the good kid who needs backup. Because we don't live in a world that is very giver-friendly. Hell, even in the spiritual or self-development communities, we're almost trying to make being a giver go out of style. We call it codependent, we call it, you know, basically a lack of confidence, low self-esteem. And I wanted to have everyone stop and think for a second, is that the right direction we want to go in? A lot is catered to the person who is starting over. There's not enough support, even in the regular world, the real world. Most of the people who slip through cracks are the people that could be A students. A lot of them are A students. A lot of A students dropped out when I was in high school. That was over 10 years ago, but that's still something to think about. Where are the support for the givers, the achievers, the people who really put themselves out there? The ones who have been somebody's hero. Not a token of admiration, but somebody who's been heroic. The last thing I want to do is contribute to the trending notion that all the world needs is a lot more hyperactive smiling sociopaths. So, I wrote out the content of this video because I don't think that I could actually deliver this very well. And I must give credit to my friend Mike, Indigo Speaker. He's got his own channel on YouTube. If you have not checked him out, you should, especially for those of you that are interested in more magic. But he helped me come up with the opening to this video because I am not a good opener. I am not a good opener. I am a much better ender. So let's just begin with what I was writing, because I don't want to screw this up in the delivery. To create a paradise for the self is a noble, necessary, and admirable goal should it bring love and light into this world for the good of all. However, where in the teachings of the wise did it ever say that it should come at the price of separation and deprival? Thank you, Mike, for that. Now here's where I actually begin. The Buddha was conscientious enough to cultivate his inwardly turned paradise in solitude, without siphoning dependence to maintain it. The Christ advocated that love is the highest spiritual act to be shared and bestowed on all with mercy, grace, and charity in action, not mere esteem. So why is it so many modern teachings of these ideals fail utterly? And where do they fall short? Is the plight of the modern light worker truly an audacious attack from dark forces, or is it a necessary, natural consequence of a movement gone wrong? Alright, so where are you going with this, Nico? I'm sure you're all asking right now. Where is he? What is he getting at? What are you talking about? Oh my god, this already sounds cryptic as hell. Well, I'll tell you. The world needs more givers. That's just plain and simple. Now, before I continue, I would like to assert that I'm aware that perhaps someone may insult my intelligence and assume I am not keeping in mind that codependent and abusive relationships are toxic and ultimately destructive. Trust me, I am well aware. And so I will remind you that a lot of what is being touted as codependent is an incorrect and perverted usage of the term. Just remember now a golden rule. Do no harm. Do no harm to yourself, and do no harm to others accidentally or deliberately, if you can help it. Yes, for the love of goodness, liberate yourself from darkness, abuse, and exploitation. Always. If you are in an abusive, exploitative, or toxic relationship or connection, you need to take care of yourself. Now that that has been said, let's talk about the people who don't need to be told that. Let's address the need for more giving in the world, that it is so focused on self-fascination. Where is the support for the person who is giving despite charity, mercy, and grace going out of style in most communities? Givers, I gotta say, be proud of the fact that you can, and that you still can. Be proud of the fact that you have it in you to give, and that you are capable. Don't stop giving. Sure, you will meet some exploitative people in the world. You will date them, befriend them, share genetics, and maybe share a neighborhood or two. But please don't stop being a giver just on their account. Be proud of the fact that you can. If you aren't appreciated, sure, cut them off. But don't cut the world off from your giving. Don't perpetuate the separation. We all incarnated here to work together, not drift apart. In this world, there is an illusion of emotional scarcity that is being propagated. Cycles of abandonment, lacking reciprocation, and unfounded entitlement. So it should be no surprise that the saturation of these absurdities are creating a sympathetic atmosphere for themselves. Every man and woman for themselves. You can't make a person feel happy. You can't make a person feel better. Sure, that is for certain. But there is a subtext insertion of, don't bother trying to help. Or doesn't it sound that way? I think of that song by Jewel, Deep Water, if I may date myself, and I'll read you some lyrics here. Try to find yourself in the abstractions of religion and the cruelty of everyone else. And you wake up to realize your standard of living somehow got stuck on survive. From where I am in this community, and what I do, from my vantage, that is exactly the state of being that is creating further separation. Movements without unity, agendas with no focus, and stymied advancement in all development opportunity. In the end, we need the givers, because who hasn't leaned on a giver, whether they admitted it or not? Maybe it'll allay feelings of obligation to try and give thanks to God or the higher self and call it a day. That's not really a philosophy you want to be toting unless you plan on living on a high hill, where you're only obligated to participate with the earth and the sky, if you can hack it. We were born in bodies not dissimilar to one another, in a world full of life forms that live and breathe the same air and need the same nourishment, the same love, and not to learn how to get out. That hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. Escape is not a fresh new concept. In a world where there are plenty of people drinking, pill-popping, shooting up, shooting each other, and screwing each other's brains out because they don't want them anymore, yes, a Buffy quote, what is any different about trying to separate the self through spiritual means? And is anyone who is still alive after all that succeeding there anyway? In the comfort of the developed world, many in this community still have love enough from someone to be provided with food, a job, shelter, advice, support, and maybe just make it possible that they have time and space to go on this journey. And they want to say separation, or they don't like to think that they're walking away from that. Some people just want hugs. Thank God for the givers, but please thank the givers too, for Christ's sake. Literally. That's what Christ would have wanted. Now, what does this have to do with light workers and teachers not getting a break? Let's talk consequences. Coping mechanisms set to teach a person not to permit usury, abuse, and exploitation have been corrupted to be sold as an easy opportunity to separate through complete and utter selfishness. It is now that these coping mechanisms have become utterly faulty and destructive. Unless you're a bored trophy wife or a glorified male prostitute in the limelight, these aren't going to help on their own. They are certainly not fit for flag-waving or certificate pyramid schemes either, the existence of such just being evidence for the perversion of a good intention. Call it what you want. Magic, whatever you prefer to term it, comes with a price. A lack of communal participation with the kingdoms we live in, spiritual, natural, and social, is not without its consequence. Not giving back and not paying it forward, both, we need both, creates an imbalance in the spiritual equivalent exchange, which, by the way, is not at all divorced from the very scientific understanding of energy conservation in the universe we live in. There is a reason a light worker or a seeker can't get a start on a new journey. Do you know what that is? Maybe it's not dark oppression, hey buddy. Maybe it's bad karmic credit. And you can refer to my gratitude video for more information on that. I think that it's time that we start a new trend. I think that it's time that we actually get back in touch with giving a bit more love. Where is the sense that it takes a village? If you have been out there trying to use all of these teachings to your own benefit, to your own good to grow, I urge you to consider that perhaps there is a need to have more of an equitable exchange with the world, the people, and the spirits around you. If you are able to maintain a positive karmic credit with the universe, you can excel and thrive. It's very important to understand what is going on with that. I think that what we need to do is pay attention to where, we're denying our brothers and sisters so much love because, again, the propagation of an illusion of separation, me versus him. Emotional scarcity. I can't support my best friend when they're going through something. I can't support my boyfriend when he has a bad time. I can't be there for any family member that is not willing to conform to my ideals. That is such a dangerous place to be in. It's of no surprise that it is a huge minority that is actually succeeding in whatever goal they set forth for themselves. None at all. If we want love, we need to have it. We need to cultivate it, grow it, not just within ourselves. The more energetic space you take up with that love, a lot more can be done and a lot more that can happen. You givers out there need to take good care of yourselves. That I will say. But don't stop giving. You need to find people to support and to give to and love that you know will turn that into something beautiful to share. People who can give back. If we want to treat spirituality like a sexual experience, then we want to understand that it does take a blending to create a brand new life. A brand new creation. A brand new portal to source. No one can do that in separation. Givers, keep giving. You have my love, you have my support. I will always take your side. It's so important that we all learn to be a lot more like you. Don't give up. Stay strong. Let's end this now.